Hey, this is Hans-Peder, and today I want to talk about the stories that you tell yourself. And this is kind of, associated with the belief systems and the things, you think about yourself. But I think a story is a little different, it's a little more digestible and a little easier to understand. So basically, what you have to understand about, human nature is that we have a story we tell about ourselves and about everything, So you have a story about how you use money. You have a story about, how you should be, how people should treat you. You have a story about, everything. And the thing about this is these stories doesn't have to be good stories, They can be horror stories in theory, you know. So you really have to be careful because I'm 100% certain that you have some stories about yourself, about the way you act, about the way you should act, about the way others should act on you that are not, happy fairy tales and are like happy with happy ever after and rainbows and fairies and all this. Some of your stories aren't as good as they should be. And this again can be in a lot of places. But you could just look at your life and see those places where, if you had to rate, the different areas of your life from 1 to 10, your relationships, your money situations, your families, your family, your health, your fitness, the rate you're improving yourself, your growth, your improvement, all this, your career, all these things, if you rate them, those places where you rate low are places where you probably have a bad story. And the places where you rate high is probably where you have like a happy fantasy story. Where you know that everything's going to be good. I'm the hero of this story and I can succeed and I am succeeding and improving and I'm slaying this dragon and I'm such an awesome hero and warrior and everything's going great. So that could, for example, be in your career. If you're really slaying it, you're confident, you're owning it, everything's good. That's because you have a story of you being a high achiever, being productive, being, you're good at talking to people, all this stuff. You have a positive story about yourself from this area. And you might then be really crappy in health, for example. And that might be, oh, my family always ate bad junk food, so I can't really change that. Or, oh, it's so hard to work out, I can't do that. I don't have time to work out. Or it's not that important to work out, it doesn't matter, and all these things, and it doesn't really change anything. All these stories, you can see what I'm talking about, right? All these bad stories are shaping the way you act. Because if you think this way, of course you won't, do fitness and work out and stuff like that. So we all have bad stories in different parts of our lives, and these can have been caused by the way we see the world and the way we perceive the world. And you have to understand that all your stories are subjective and you can change them. And now you might say, well, no, I can't. Or, for example, if you have been treated really badly when you were young, you might think that you shouldn't be treated with respect, that you're not good enough, all these things. But that just not, for example, that example doesn't have to be true. Because if it had, shouldn't it be true for all other people too then? And if you look around, not everyone is thinking the same way you do. So by that fact that other people have different stories means that you also can have a different story. And if you have a story where you think, oh, I can't change the way I am, I can't change my story, that's also a story. And again, that can be changed too. So yeah, you really, and of course, you have everything about this starts with awareness. You need to be aware of your stories. So if you're totally unaware and don't know why you do the things you do, you can start by just being aware and like asking yourself, well, okay, why did I get really angry when the guy flipped me off in traffic? Well, why am I not succeeding at work? Or, well, why am I not healthy? What is my excuse basically? Try to look at your excuses and the reasons why you're not succeeding in things. And that excuse or reason is probably not like, what would we call it? It may be true, like that's maybe it may be valid, but that doesn't really mean you can't change it and you can't come forward. So just be aware of your stories and be, oh, okay, I have these bad horror stories over here. I just have to be aware of them for now. Let's just have them there, all right? So that's good. And then, of course, you can change your stories. And there's tons of different ways to change your story and your beliefs. But we can start with a pretty basic one. Start telling yourself a different story. And this may really be weird in the start and feel wrong, and like you're lying to yourself, like you're disillusional, and like, yeah, you feel like you're mad or something. And that's not true at all. I've done it myself a lot of time, and it's really fantastic when you do it. So the basic principle is, let's take workout again. So start telling yourself, oh, I can easily work out. I can do it in like 5 minutes or something. It's easy. I love to work out. I love to do this. I'm a healthy person. And it might feel like you're lying to yourself from the start, and that is totally normal and totally okay. But what happens over time, if you keep telling yourself this, you'll begin to change your story. And if you really want to pump some, fuel into this rocket of change, actually start to baby step it. So start telling yourself, oh, I love to work out. Oh, I love to eat healthy. Actually baby step it. So actually try to work out for 3 minutes. Just do some pull-ups or something. And maybe eat one more carrot a day or something. So really, start to tell yourself a different story. And then baby step it. And don't set high demands for yourself in the start. But just try to do a little thing. So yeah. And you will start to see that your story will change your time. And when your story and your belief change, your behavior and your actions change. And that's where, the real magic of life really comes in, and where you can change your life. So another example is, if you don't think you're good enough, if you have bad self-esteem, start talking differently to yourself and change the story. So instead of, telling yourself you're worthless and you're a good for nothing runt or something, start telling yourself, oh, I am enough. Oh, I'm amazing. I'm just wonderful the way I am. I'm fantastic. And especially I've done this myself. And in the start, this really feels weird because you're like, no, I don't. I feel like I'm worthless. I'm a piece of shit or something. And that's totally okay that you kind of reject the thought, but you just have to keep telling yourself this stuff. And this can take months. And now you may be like, oh my God, I don't want to do it. But no, think about this. Don't you want to practice a little bit for a month and just be more positive to yourself for a month, and then change your behavior over a lifetime? That's pretty freaking good deal to me. And it's not even hard. You just have to talk to yourself in a different manner and be aware. So yeah. So for example, if low self-esteem, start telling yourself you're amazing, you're wonderful, and all these things. And it's totally fine if you don't believe it. That doesn't matter at all, because over time your brain starts to pick this up, and you can imagine if these parts of your life that suck really bad, If you start, imagine you have a swamp basically. That's your bad place in life. So if you're bad health or bad self-esteem, that's a swamp. When you start to close off those, pipes that are running, trash and toxic into the swamp, that's a good start. The swamp is pretty unclean still. There's a lot of poison and stuff and trash in there. But then when you start, opening a new pipe to the swamp with a lot of clear water, it's still gonna take a lot of time because the swamp is still toxic and dirty. But hey, now you begin to see the swamp is improving a little bit day by day because you're only putting clear water in, and you've clogged over the other pipe that pours trash in. And over time, you will see the swamp will actually begin to have clear water and maybe not stop being a swamp and be a beautiful forest or something like that. I'm not a nature biologist, but it was just a symbolism to show it. So yeah, imagine when you start doing this, you're basically pouring good water into this ocean, sea, swamp, whatever. And over time, the water will get more clear. And at some point, you reach the place where you can actually look at this swamp or forest or whatever and say, whoa, it's really beautiful and clear over here. I like this. So yeah, in the start, it will feel like you still have a dirty swamp in your head, if you want that metaphor. But you will start to improve over time and become better and better and better. So yeah, and you have to do this consistently. So you can't just be like, oh, okay, I'll eat healthy, I'm super strong, I love myself, I'm full of energy. And then 10 minutes later, oh, I hate working out, I just want pizza. And again, listen to what I'm saying. You have to change the way you speak to yourself. It's totally okay if you still eat kind of junk food, and maybe just baby step it, because you start with your beliefs, the way you think, and then you move on from there. So you just have to talk differently to yourself in the start at least, and then you can change your actions onward. So yeah, start by doing this. Start to be telling yourself a different story. Start telling yourself a really awesome fairy tale action story where you're the hero, instead of a horror story where everything, goes bad at the end. Alright, so this is Hans-Peder. See you guys later, and I really hope you guys do this, because it's really important for your mental health, for your self-esteem, and for your productivity and your results. So see you guys later. Bye.